All right, what it do, fellas? This is Brian, aka Uncle B, and you are now at GoodWood University. We are going to do what we always do: talk about men's sexual health, the things we need to do to get better, not only as men, as leaders of our communities, as fathers, all that good stuff, the stuff that we do on the regular. But we have to take care of ourselves first. And yes, I want to thank you for joining us. This is what we do: 7 o'clock, in the evening. We like to get it in Eastern Standard Time. Shout out to Fisher, Eugene, Big Tex in the house. Brandon, what's going on? Louisiana's in here, and also Clean the Plate. James, good to see you again, sir. Yeah, today we're talking about top foods to eat for erectile dysfunction, and I want to get serious right quick, really quick, because it's something that I see happening. I'm quite sure you see happening because you're just living life. The more you live, the more you're going to see other people not live. That's just the way this process works. But one thing that seriously bothers me is when we have people who have all this information. We have the internet age here. We have so much information, and you can look at the cat videos, or you can look at videos like this and get yourself educated. But what concerns me is that we have so many people who have resigned themselves to not take care of themselves. I mean, I got family members who are like that, who are like, like, they know what they're supposed to do, they just don't do it. And that is an issue. If you're older, like got family in their 70s and 80s, I can understand. They're set in their ways. But, I got friends now. Yeah, we're talking about, cirrhosis of the liver, cancer of the liver, issues that need to be taken care of and taken care of seriously. So please do me a favor, take this information, please share it. But more importantly, it's like the airplane. When the masks come down, you got to put it on yourself first. Yeah, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself so you can take care of others. What's going on, Curtis? In the house, Mr. Moore. All right. So yeah, what we're going to do is today we're going to talk about the top foods for to eat for erectile dysfunction. Not only will this help with erectile dysfunction, it's to help you with your life, period. Man, I'm gonna tell you, I stubbed my toe. I do this thing where I do a lot of stretches, I do high kicks and stuff like that, and I'm sitting there like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do a high kick, and somehow I managed to kick the bench. Ow, ow. It was pain. My whole toenail is not functioning correctly, looking all weird and stuff. But the interesting thing for me, foot swelled up, and then it didn't. And I was like, I'm used to being older. And when you get hurt older, it takes a while. It takes a while to get stuff back together. And it got back together much faster than I thought. And I contribute that to eating foods that not only fix your Johnson, but it fix the rest of your body. So, yeah, pay attention to this so you can fix the rest of your body. What's going on, Damon? Let's get into it. If you want to have stronger erections, you want to have all that energy, all that good stuff, we're going to talk about the foods that not only help your body, but help you avoid ED and get through ED, get over ED. I work with guys who are in their 60s, 70s, and no matter how old you get, don't get it twisted. There's not one point in a man's life where he says, you know what, I don't mind my Johnson not working. So yeah, you want to start eating these foods now and taking care of yourself. So specifically, we're going to talk about how your body gets clogged up to begin with, and how that affects your testosterone and your blood flow, and what the foods are that we can get to get that stuff taken care of. So by the way, of course, as always, you can go ahead and hit me up with questions. I will get to those. And hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. And if you feel so inclined, you could, donate, help the cause, help the channel out. We want to get this out to as many people as possible. And yeah, everything costs money. So yeah, we want to get it down. So let's get into it. While the foods that we're going to be talking about are specific for ED, eating plants regardless is going to help you in so many different ways. Like I said, got a stub toe. That was the night before last. Yeah, much better. I don't even feel it now. So yeah, eating can help that out. Now, when I talk about these foods, I'm talking about foods. I'm talking to guys to all over the world. Uh-huh. Yeah, Curtis, great question. I'm gonna get that. I talk to guys who are all over the world. Shout out to Jamaica, shout out to Nigeria, shout out to Switzerland. Woo. We got a lot of guys from all over the world, and some of the plants I'm talking about are not going to be there. In fact, I'm right outside of Washington, D.C. None of the plants I'm talking about are grown in this area. I know the avocados are not, stuff. Certain plants aren't here, but just pay attention in terms of understanding that you can get plant-based foods that are not plant-based foods, but plants that can help you out. And it's everybody's body is different, so you need to pay attention to what you eat and how it affects you. But we have to understand that erectile dysfunction is an early sign of high cholesterol. And so the foods that we're talking about on this list actually break down cholesterol, which is a waxy fat substance, and too much bad cholesterol causes arterial plaque. So inside of your blood vessels, it's going to clog up the walls. It's going to cause problems. You don't want that. That's going to mess up your blood flow, and the blood flow going to your penis and your testicles. So yeah, you want to avoid that. Your testicles produce the testosterone. Okay. And the interesting thing about it, I mean, a lot of times people say cholesterol is just bad. Cholesterol is all throughout your entire body, and you need cholesterol to actually, like I said, get that testosterone. So it's all a part of the process. It's just a matter of balance. And when you're eating more plant-based foods, it's going to help that. And so you get that testosterone. The bursting and burning of testosterone is what fuels those erections. So that's the reason why we want to make sure we're taking care of our blood flow. So let's get into the plants that we're talking about here. Celery. Celery contains plant sterols that act like testosterone in the body. So that whole thing of like losing weight, you dipping and just eating celery, hey, it's going to help out. Asparagus has zinc and B vitamins for elevating testosterone. Green tea. I drink maca every morning, which is a green tea. Has antioxidants, boosts metabolism, and one of the great things, it may decrease risk of prostate cancer. We talked about prostate cancer. We got a video came out earlier today. We were talking about prostate cancer. You want to avoid that like the plague. It's not a cute system in terms of getting rid of that. And 1 cup of that green tea stops the formation of cholesterol. So when we talk about foods like broccoli, I love broccoli. Some people eat broccoli raw. I don't understand that. Give me steamed. Just get it steamed. But it normalizes blood pressure. Lots of fiber for that digestion, and it detoxifies the body. All of that is really important. Let me see. Also, spinach. I love spinach. I used to hate spinach as a kid. Now, in fact, there are foods that on this list that back in the day, heck no. Now, of course, absolutely. Spinach improves eyesight, blood pressure. Actually, somebody asked me about what I did to improve my eyesight. I'll mention that later on. It has potassium, magnesium, iron, vitamins A, B6, and C. Yeah, it does its thing. Avocados decreases cholesterol. It helps clears the arteries. Highly important. This has B5, B6, C, E, and K. A lot of vitamins in there. It's packed with fiber and lowers sugar. Which can help with weight loss, of course. Now, let's talk about some other foods that can unclog these erections. Cauliflower flushes out estrogen, which is huge because for a lot of guys, one of the issues that we face is that we're in an estrogen-soaked environment. When I say it's estrogen-soaked, your receipts, that little roll that comes out and you're holding on to that, yeah, they have chemicals in there that mimic estrogen. There's when people are flushing their pills and putting it into the water system, that gets back into the water system, that gets into us, and yeah, it can cause problems. So it's highly important to get rid of excess estrogen in your system. Cauliflower will do that. Pomegranate. Yeah, that's one of those. Pomegranate's interesting, sort of like kiwi. Pomegranate like came out of nowhere. It was like I used to go to the grocery store, never heard of pomegranates. Then all of a sudden it's everywhere. So hey, take advantage. And it's not grown anywhere near the DC area. So it lowers pressure, normalizes blood circulation, and has antioxidants. Once again, for the guys who are just joining us, this is Brian, aka Uncle B, men's performance coach with GoodWood. This is GoodWood University talk right here. And we're talking about foods that unclog your erections. Go ahead, hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell, and put your questions in the comments. Let's talk about cinnamon, which is an aphrodisiac. Cinnamon is actually in GoodWood. Yeah. GoodWood is an all-natural liquid aphrodisiac, has 8 different ingredients in there, and cinnamon is in there as well. It keeps arteries from hardening, which is a huge thing. Helps with weight loss and helps with diabetes by lowering sugar. Now, let's get into one of my new favorites, watermelon. Watermelon is a new favorite of mine because, like I mentioned earlier, stubbing my toe. Because watermelon is so high in L-citrulline, if you're consuming it every day, actually, my man Vance, shout out to Vance, he got me into this because he would eat like a large plate of this every day. Um, and I'm seeing him do it, and it was like, okay, well, let me go ahead and give it a try. As soon as I tried it, I started nosing. I stretch every morning. I do, I can tell what I ate the day before by my stretches in the morning because, if I'm eating something that's not good for me, I'm stiffer. And if you're stretching every morning, you can make that difference. You can tell that difference. But watermelon is great, has antioxidants. It's great for erections for obvious reasons. And let's talk about kale. Now, kale is very dense. That's the reason why it's like chewy. That's the reason why people make kale chips. It's like one of the few vegetables you can just sit there and, I'm going to say fry it, but you can just bake it and it'll just dense up. It's like, it's kale. You have to add flavor into it because it's kale. But it increases testosterone levels and has magnesium. And garlic. I'm into garlic. I put garlic into everything now. When I have my salads, I just make sure I get at least a clove or two of garlic a day. It dilates the blood vessels, which is great for increasing your blood flow, which of course stops your blood vessels from hardening. So all of that is important. Of course, that all leads to lowering blood pressure. Now, when we talk about oatmeal, shout out to Quaker Oats. They've been around for forever. It's the first cereal that people ate. That's the reputation it has. It's eaten by 75% of Americans. So we love our oatmeal. Quick word about oatmeal before I get into all the benefits of it. We're not talking about the packaged oatmeal that comes in a Quaker Oats shaker bag when you just open it up and you pour it out and get that hot water in there. Yeah, that's sugar. They put sugar with the oats, and as I talked about before, sugar lowers your testosterone levels. So you don't want that. Why are you going to eat something healthy for you while adding a lot of sugar? And oh, by the way, brown sugar is not healthier, is probably worse. It's just sugar with molasses. Yeah. I didn't know that growing up. I thought it was good for you. I'm sitting there, oh, I don't eat regular sugar. I eat brown sugar. No, that's not a thing. So oatmeal decreases bad cholesterol, gets that blood flow, rich in fiber, helps the blood flow, and improves digestion, helps the blood flow. So when we get to the berries like blueberries and strawberries, in fact, I got blueberries in the refrigerator. I had that earlier today with my watermelon. Lowers blood pressure, dilates blood vessels, and low in sugar. That's always good. What's going on, Mix Master Dean? Shout out to RD. Thumbs up to you too, sir. All right. So blueberries and strawberries lowers blood pressure, dilates blood vessels, fibers and antioxidants, low in sugar. When we get the nuts, though that has the protein, the fiber, it reduces blood pressure. One thing for my guys, like myself, got a little exercise. I sniff something and I can get calories. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, you only want to go with a handful of nuts. And when we talk about nuts, they all have different properties. So, for example, cashews are higher on the fat side. All of them have different properties. So pay attention. You got the Google machine. Just go ahead, before you start downing a whole bag of nuts, pay attention to what you're getting, and also be very careful with the salt content of those nuts. We don't want you to increase your blood pressure while you're trying to lower your blood pressure. Unless, of course, you need an increase in blood pressure. That does happen. Chris, hey, what's good? You, brother. All right. Vitamin E to decrease bad cholesterol. That's in almonds. Yep. And vitamin C to increase nitric oxide and release better blood flow. That's chestnuts. See? You got to pay attention to what type of nuts you are consuming. And jokes in there, but whatever. Extra extra virgin olive oil. Now that reduces blood pressure. That's the only oil that I use to cook with. I use virgin olive oil on my salads. So instead of using the salad dressings, what I'll do is take olive oil, add seasoning, add like a lemon, some cayenne pepper to that, and oh, cayenne, cayenne pepper to that for a little heat. Add my seasonings to it. I make my own salad dressing with olive oil. The thing you want to do is make sure you're getting the certified 100% organic. You know, some people definitely like to go in and play games with, you know, the food that they're making. Uh-huh. Yeah. Clean the plate. James just started taking beetroot powder. Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. That is no joke. I often, you know, my preference is for the actual beet juice, but I'll go with the beetroot powder, and also, you know, there's some pills that well, capsules. I don't do pills, but capsules that will that help with that process. You know, in terms of like that increases your blood flow and all that good stuff. Uh huh. And yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Great question, Irk. All right. You want to get straightforward answer? There's no other type of answer around here, bruh. Foods that unclog your erections. That's what we've been talking about. So here's some other things to keep in mind. Try maintaining an ideal weight. Obviously, that's going to help. If you're carrying too much weight, that's going to lead to a bunch of other issues, which is going to lead to ED. Actually, you're already having issues with your erections if you're obese, and then if you stay there, you don't improve, you're going to lead to having ED. Of course, keeping your cholesterol and blood pressure under control. That's that you know that's for a bunch of good reasons. Obviously, you have to be careful with what you eat, and stop smoking, whether that is the tobacco or the weed. Yeah, you want to stop with that and avoid the steroids. I hope I don't have to say you that. But yeah, like Cat Williams says, you're gonna take something that makes you big and you small at the same time. Like, look at me, baby. Look at this. Look at all these muscles. Ting! Look, I got nothing. Yeah, don't do that. And of course, exercise regularly. All right. So let me just run back through what I was talking about before. I think I have it should be in the comment sections. So we're talking about the oatmeal, strawberries, blueberries, nuts, extra virgin olive oil. We also got the green tea, spinach, avocados, broccoli, kale, celery, asparagus, watermelon, cinnamon, pomegranate, garlic, and cauliflower. Now, as I mentioned, you know, a lot of these foods that you saw, they do roughly the same thing. That's the reason why it's very important that you stay in that plant aisle in the grocery store. Go ahead and explore, look at some other things. That's what I like to do now is when I go in there, I'm just grabbing something I've never seen before. I'm like, okay, got the Google machine, just look it up and like, all right, let's figure out how to cook this thing and see what it does. And every time I go in there, I'm looking at something. I just ask the question: what is the sexual health benefit for men for whatever that plant is? And it's always a good answer. So get into your plants. That's going to save your life. You were designed to consume something that has the power of the sun inside of a plant, inside of you. That's how you fix your body. And quick question, guys. Did I miss anything? What are other things that you have on your list? Go ahead, hit me up in the comment section. But yeah, that's what you should look for in terms of getting that taken care of. Once again, this is Brian, aka Uncle B. You are listening to GoodWood Radio, GoodWood Podcast, GoodWood Live, however you want to say it. This is what we do. Let me go ahead and answer some questions. If you got some questions, put that in there. So Curtis asks, hey, Brian, what's going on, sir? I noticed in one of your previous videos you mentioned that eating too much red meat can negatively impact erectile health. Does fish have the same effect too? Yes, it does. Whenever you're consuming something that used to be alive and moving around, no matter what it is, whether it's baby seal, giraffe, rhino, cow, it does the same thing inside of your body. Your body does not digest it well. It takes a longer time for it to digest. When they talk about humans being carnivores, that makes absolutely no sense. I'm not even sure why you would think that, because a carnivore eats that animal alive. Humans are completely different from that. We can't eat an animal alive, period. Go ahead and try it. I'd like to see it. But, and I'm not talking about somebody who's like, well, sushi. Yeah, animals don't cut up their food. They just eat the food. So yeah, as humans, we're not designed for that. We can consume it. Now, once again, I'm not a chicken hugger, a cow hugger, or a fish hugger. I'm just letting you know what happens once it gets inside your body. And the other thing you have to be concerned about is the source of your fish, whether it's coming out of the sea, out of a fish farm, out of a can. Um, these things are, and we also have to pay attention to the fact that our seas are not healthy anymore. And so a lot of times you're getting fish that have something baked into it that's not good for you. We're talking about levels of mercury, and some people will ask, well, like, well, how much poison is in it? It's like 10% poison. It's poison. It doesn't make a difference. So when it comes to your erections and things like that, if you're trying to fix stuff, at least have this information so you can start thinking like, okay, let me start dialing it back. It's uh, um, I'm not one of those people who's saying that you need to stop eating meat altogether. Live your life, but if you want a particular result, you have to take action. That's all there is to that. Hmm. All right, great question, man. Thanks, Curtis. Appreciate that. Uh huh. Yeah. Yep. 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 All right, here we go. Irk says, "Hey Brian, I've been watching your videos lately. I enjoy your work. I just went plant-based recently. How long might it take to regain erections after going plant-based? I looked on Google and couldn't find it. I'm assuming. Yeah, that's because that's a very hard question to answer. So one of the things that if you've been paying attention to my channel for a while, which you have, uh, I talk about our program we have called ECS 25. That's ESEIS, energy, sleep, exercise, intermittent fasting, and soul. Those are the 5 things that control the basis of your body. The first three, your mama told you. It was like, eat your fruits and vegetables, go to sleep on time, go outside and play. Intermittent fasting, she probably didn't tell you that. And soul, she took you to church. How about that? But these 5 things are what counts. So you can go plant based, but if your sleep sucks, yeah. In fact, just to let you guys know, we are turning this into a call-in show. We're just working with the technology. It's way more difficult than I thought it would be. But I did one recently, and I was talking to a police officer who, he's training every day. He had went plant-based, and I think it had been like a year, close to a year. Went plant-based, dropped a ton of weight, but the issue was that he was working overnight. So he had the first taken care of. The E was great. The S, the sleep was horrible. And the other E, the exercise was great. And intermittent fasting. And he said he wasn't stressed, which I was like, wow, you're a police officer and you're not stressed. And, hey, I wasn't going to knock that. But I was like, so, as men, sometimes we compartmentalize our levels of stress. So we do have stress, we just ignore it, but it does exist. So, but just to get back to that question, how long it takes also depends on the other things that you do. How is your sleep? How, are you exercising? You know, the things that are in the 5 that I'm talking about, it's all just natural stuff. I mean, that's we're taking us back to the basics. You know, we're eating way more dry stuff, way more processed animals. Animals are the most processed things on the planet to eat. It used to be alive, now it's in your mouth. That's a hell of a process. So, uh, the sleep, we have lights and all types of distractions. We don't get the sleep that we should be getting. The exercise, we're going to the gym like once in a while, and we're like walk to the car, get into the car, drive to work, walk to the office. We don't do as much exercise. We're stressed all the time. And intermittent fasting, some people just, I mean, I've heard so many people say that I can't go for more than 2 hours without eating. I'm like, how in the hell do you go to sleep? That doesn't even make sense. But I'll leave that alone. So yeah, it takes more than just going plant based. It's going, and also another a quick point: plant based is better than just than eating meat, but you have to recognize that it's still processed plants, and they have to, they're trying to mimic the meats just because we're so used to eating meat. So, I do that myself. I got the plant based nuggets, that's my thing. I used to do impossible meats and stuff, but it has a lot of oil in it. So I'm very careful with that. So, my preference for you is to actually eat the plants. Uh, and not just go plant based, and also be very careful in terms of, a lot of people just want to juice everything, which is great, but you can take it too far, especially if you're trying to deal with weight, and you'll end up with a lot of sugar in your system. They'll go like, "Oh yeah, I love my smoothies." It's like you just took 3 bananas, a whole bunch of sweet stuff, and broke down all the fiber. If you're put it in a blender, and if you put it in a juicer, you took out all the fiber, and your body works optimally off of fiber, not just it's the fibers in the fruit, but when you take the fiber out of the fruit, now you just have orange juice or apple juice, which, 1 cup of orange juice has roughly 22 grams of sugar in it. And you're supposed to be getting less than 22 grams of sugar a day. So that shows you that you need to be careful with that. All right. Great questions. Love it. Keep it going. Keep it going. Ah, Greg, why are you playing with me, man? Majority of olive oil in the United States is fake. I know. Yeah, yeah. It's I always I'm sitting. I'll stand there looking at olive oil for like a couple of for a while, just like, oh man, which one is which? Because they got the virgin cold pressed. They'll say it from Italy. All these different things. Heck yeah, I may have to start growing my own olives, squeeze them myself. All right, Damon, what's going on, man? I really do eat broccoli, spinach, avocados, cauliflower, pomegranates, apples, watermelons, beets, kale, carrots, garlic, and red onions. Are almonds good for your bowels? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Almonds carry that fiber. Also has to It also has that vitamin E to decrease bad cholesterol. So yeah, that is a great list, sir. The red onions, absolutely. Let me see, carrots. Mm-hmm. 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 Apples. Yeah, that's a great list. Yeah, keep that up. I love it. All right. All right. Mm-hmm. Let me see. What else we got? Uh huh. All right. This is a good one. What's going on, Ian? I am an over the road truck driver who drives overnight. Walmart is my go to food. Oh, no. I don't work out like I used to in my late 20s into my 30s. Yeah, how old are you now? Um, the thing that you have to be careful with, because my brother did this. Um, he was driving the truck overnight. In fact, he still drives, but he drives locally. He doesn't drive long distance anymore. He doesn't do the hauling. But yeah, he ran into that situation because you're sitting down, you're sitting in a position for a long period of time, under a certain level of stress, because obviously you have to pay attention. You're just on mode all the time. You're sleeping in the cabin, and you're doing, like you said, hitting the Walmarts, and oftentimes the truck stops, all of that stuff. 47. Yeah, yeah. We have to tighten up, sir. Um, yeah, because that's when Ian is 47. Because you're at that stage where things are going to be switching. Yeah, I remember 47. That was 5 years ago. um, and you'll notice that you may have already started noticing it. Notice it among your friends. In your 30s, it's sort of interesting. Your body's like all the way into your 30s, things are sort of the same depending on how you take care of your bodies. And you can be doing the exact same thing into your 40s. But when you hit your 50s, the grades come out. I call them highlights. I like my highlights. But, you know, you have to, a gentleman who, I think he was in his 80s, late 70s into his 80s. My man looked like he was 35. And it was like, what is he doing? I mean, it was incredible. Um, and you could tell he liked to slick back the hair. He had the Grecian formula in there to make his hair darker. But outside of that, you couldn't tell. You could not tell at all that this dude was anywhere near his age. And the one thing he said that stuck to me is like, as you get older, you have to work harder. Yeah, yeah. As you get older, you have to work hard, which makes sense because your body is just naturally declining. Period. It don't matter if you're just sitting there or you're active, your body is going to be declining. So if you have that mindset that you have to work harder, then you're going to be healthier way past everybody else. I would tell you right now, I am way healthier than I was when I was 45. Way healthier. I do 100 burpees a day. 25 sets of 4 now. Uh, hold up, 25 sets, 4 sets of 25. And it makes a huge difference, how you work out. Before I was doing 10 sets and 10 sets of 10, something like that. But the idea is that you have to constantly improve as you get older. Do not fall for the trap that the medical association has set up for us, which is basically like, hey, you're going to get older, just buy our pills, come in for some surgery, and you can go home and do nothing. Don't buy into that. So, as a I didn't talk about truckers specifically, but talk specifically about a nurse who was working overnight. There's certain things you need to do to pay attention in terms of your sleep. Whenever you get to a stop, build out a whole stretch routine. I do that myself. I can't show you right now, but I have a whole stretch routine I do right before, as soon as I wake up and before I go to sleep. And that's because as you get older, look at older people. You'll notice the obvious things with older people. One, they move slower. Why? Because their blood flow is slower. They are stiffer. Why? Because their blood is stiffer. It's sticky. So to avoid the things that come with age, you have to force your body to actually react. And in fact, as you get older, if you want to live longer, you actually have to reduce the amount of food that you eat. I mean, it actually makes sense. The earth was designed for all of us. So if as you get older, if you consume what you did in your 20s while you're in your 80s and it was fine, we'd all run out of food. You're like, old motherfuckers ain't ate us out the world. That don't make sense. So as we get older, you're supposed to eat less food and work out more, do more, focus in. It's like your hobby in life needs to be getting better. You got all the tools, all the the gyms. You're not our ancestors had to deal with possible droughts, and we still deal with droughts, but it's on a different level. We deal with a drought, and yeah, the food is bringing the food is coming from South America. We got avocados coming in from Mexico. So yeah, we're in a different situation where you can use whatever's around you to stay as healthy as possible. That is what you're supposed to do. I mean, just let me reiterate that's a good one. You're supposed to get better. You're not supposed to get worse. All right. Wasi, am I saying that right? What's going on, sir? I can speak. What is better, beet room juice? Beet room juice or the powder? Oh, okay. Beet juice or powder? Okay. My preference is for the juice. The closer you can get to nature with just about anything, obviously you have to, you can't just eat a beet. If you can, more power to your teeth. But so if you're just juicing the beet itself, that's better. If you juice the beet and then you're taking out the liquid out of it, it's sort of like oranges, the concentrated oranges. It's a different process when you're creating a powder, but still it's a step further away from it, the natural state of it. So my preference is the juice, but I understand because that it doesn't take too long to go through a bottle of beet juice. So if you're working with that budget and everything, you have to go with the powder. Have at it, sir. Have at it. Yeah. Okay. Great questions. If you got more questions, go ahead and hit me up in the comment section. One thing I want to go ahead and announce: it is coming in March. We're back to it. We got a challenge coming. Challenge. We got a challenge coming. It is the Wood on Demand challenge. We had this challenge before, and we refined it. We learned from the first time we did it. We want to make it as good as possible for you. The Wood on Demand challenge is basically a 30-day process of let's see what it takes to get even better with your erections. So when we talk about the men's performance scale, that's a scale of 1 to 10. 10 means everything works. 1 means that you're need to go to the hospital. 5 to 7 means that you're reliable. What we're trying to do is move you up the scale. So we'll have you take the men's performance quiz, and that asks you just a bunch of questions to give you an idea of where you are in that range. And let's go ahead and see what you can do to go from a 7 to an 8 to a 9. If you're at an 8, let's get to a 10. Whatever you need to do to improve. And so what we're going to do is, it's a challenge with each other. We have oh, I'm sorry. Give me 1 second. I got something to show you. Hold on. All right. We got show and tell over here. Show and tell. All right. This is from the 13th. Let me see if we can get this in frame. All right. So this is what you would end up filling out. This is ECS 25, as I mentioned before. So in terms of my exercise, in terms of my energy, what I was consuming on the 13th, this past Tuesday, let's see, I was 80% raw, 20% vegan. And so I hit my score of a 5. Sleep, I'm getting horrible sleep, just stress, business, all that good stuff. My goal was 6 hours, that's actually good for me, but I only hit 4 hours, which is horrible. So I got a 0. For my energy, exercise, I did high intensity interval training, and I did a walk. I think it's like a 5-mile walk. So I hit my 5. For my intermittent fasting, I had breakfast at 1 p.m. and the last I ate the night before that was at 8 o'clock. So I had 17 hours of intermittent fasting. And then for my soul, I did meditate 3 times because I'm stressed. And, for a good 10 minutes each, that was 30 minutes. So I get a 5 in that. So my score for that day was 20. So all of that to say, let me see, can I get that in camera? You will get this. And with this is how you score yourself. Now, if you're scoring yourself every day, you start to see the patterns. And that's the most important thing. That's what the Erections on Demand, the whole premise of the way that I do my coaching, the way that I help guys is by helping you understand your patterns. A lot of times people call it habits, and habits is just, it's ethereal. It's just something you say. But people say you need to have healthy habits. A healthy pattern you can see. You can, like I said, I can go back and I can look like, oh, last week I was feeling this way because of this. In fact, let me see. Yeah, I started with my water. I take notes in here too. My watermelon challenge. Oh, and as I mentioned, I stubbed my big toe. And so I have this in my notes because that will affect my workout schedule. And it did for the next day. So, being able to go back and look and figure out what's going on, you're able to see what you actually did or aren't doing that leads you to where you are. So if you have an erection issue, it's because of your patterns. It's not because you didn't get the latest pill. It's not because of, sometimes it can be because of injury. It could be some other answers, but on average for the, I go with 80-20 rule. 80% of the time it's your pattern that led you to having erection issues. So going back and looking at your patterns, both in the macro and the micro, looking at it daily, that's the micro. The macro is, people switch jobs. So, like Ian, if Ian went from being a truck driver to, I don't know, a school teacher, you're facing 2 different, issues right there. It's like a truck driver, you're sitting down, you're overnight and everything like that. You're by yourself. You have a level of meditation if you really like the road and all that good stuff. But if you're in a classroom, you're teaching a class, you're standing up, you're moving around, you're interacting with people. That can be healthy. If you got some badass kids, that's not as healthy if that stresses you out. Some people like dealing with badass kids. So, but it's all of that's the macro. So people change their jobs, the seasons change. Me personally, when it hits October, I used to go through a state of depression. I remember this back from high school, and I thought it was because, well, September, you're in the school, and by October, you're taking all the quiz and tests, and, you start you're stressing over that. It was like, nah, you're stressing because the vitamin D has left because the sun is no longer out the way it was, and you're no longer out with the sun. So that's a macro. So that's what the Erections on Demand process does. It helps you understand where you are, and then we're able to personalize a plan for you. The whole goal of this is for you to know your score up front, improve your score, and in the middle, we're going to figure out a blueprint for you so you can start looking at ways to improve yourself long term. This is to get you that momentum that, so you want one of the, as a coach, I know this for a fact. If people don't see progress, they stop. I mean, we've all done that. It's like if you're trying to lose weight and it's like, okay, the first week you're going to drop that water weight. You're all excited and everything. Like, oh, I dropped 5 pounds in 1 week, man. And then the next week it goes to that back to that 1 pound or 2 pounds. You're like, oh man. It's like, yeah, you fell for the trap. It was like you saw the progress and then you like sort of eased up. It's like now you have to keep staying the course even when you don't necessarily see the progress. But if you're able to track what's going on, you can start to see what your patterns are. That's what's going to happen when we do this competition, when we do this challenge. I like this thought process. Wayne, I need to get busy with myself and stop playing around once and for all. I love that thought process. That is really important. Once again, as I mentioned at the top of the hour, I have people in my family. I have friends. I'm hitting that range, that age. I've been blessed my entire life. I haven't had too many deaths, unexpected deaths around me. But unfortunately, now I'm seeing people who it's like, hey, when you get me personally, if I was diagnosed with anything, man, I'm going to have a PhD over the weekend. I'm going to figure this stuff out. There's no way that I've come this far by faith. Leaning on the Lord. I'm sorry, about to go to church on you, but but it's true. It's like we have the information now. We have access to herbs like GoodWood. You can go to givegoodwood.com and get GoodWood. We have, herbs, tinctures, formulas that weren't available to our parents. And so we can now take advantage of all of that. Don Coolio, what's going on? Shit. Yes. That is a very strong herb. I would highly recommend that. Does taking multivitamin every day help to combat lack of exposure to sun, i.e. vitamin D? Yeah, it helps. My concern is when you say multivitamin, let's think this all the way through. I know they have the science behind it, and it's their science, so who knows? But when you're saying you're going to take 23 different things and slam it into a pill this size, how is that? How's that possible? Are you getting the right amount, and what's going on? I always say get back to nature as much as possible. If you can go without. If you can get that sun, I mean, me personally, I make it a point because it helps with your sleep. It helps with other things that vitamin D, getting it from a pill, won't do. You go out into the sun, your body is calibrating with, the time. You'll actually get better sleep just by walking in the morning, walking in the evening, walking during the day, or just not even walking, just being out in the sun. Your body just naturally attunes itself to the sun. I used to work in an environment where I would get to work at 7, about 8 o'clock, and being around the DC area is like dark. So I'm in the office. It's driving to work. It was dark. Staying at work. I mean, I didn't see any sun, and by the time I got out of work, it was dark again. So I understand that if you need to get that, I would look for just getting vitamin D specifically, if that is truly an issue. Obviously, you can check with your doctor. We partner with Let's Get Checked. Let's Get Checked. You can go to letsgetchecked.com, and they have at-home test kits. We work with them in terms of testosterone. so you can use a kit to work your testosterone. But after that, yeah, you probably need to just check with your doctor to make sure it is a deficiency or something like that. But yeah, yeah, the sun is much better. All right. Hope I answered that question for you, Don. Uh, what are some of the best vitamins to take to help with blood flow? Um, my recommendation in terms of vitamins, well, my specialty is more in herbs. Vitamins help in a different way. It's just yeah. But in terms of what is the, I would say, you know, I would say look at more natural things. Let's look at like the beet powder. Let me say maca would do that. Ashwagandha would do that. Definitely GoodWood. You can go to givegoodwood.com and we have those different herbs there. But yeah, all of these increase blood flow. Cinnamon actually increases blood flow. A lot of the, one of the things, once again, not just the vitamins. I mean, vitamins are essential, but it's better to get the vitamins out of the fruits and vegetables themselves because it's coming in a natural state and it's already in combination with other vitamins that work for your body. So what tends to happen is when we're getting vitamins, they're basically taking something in nature, synthesizing it, putting it into a powdered form, slamming it together using filler, and then painting it, and that's that multivitamin. It's not the same. It just isn't. So yeah, my recommendation is when you um I believe not all Walmarts, but most Walmarts have that grocery aisle. So they get the fruits and vegetables. They're not the most organic. I mean, sometimes some of the stores are going way more organic because they can charge more for it. But yeah, get the fruits and vegetables. They actually have more. They have the water in it. They have water content. So when you're talking about blood flow, it's mainly water. So if you're consuming that, oh yeah. Oh, good call. Yes, horny goat weed. Horny goat weed does that as well. It does help with blood flow. So you have a lot of things. You have a lot of good choices there. Woo! I understand you, Don Coolio, living in a frozen country. Whew. My man said frozen. Mm. Coming from the tropics. Ooh, ooh, yeah, yeah. That's a. I'm assuming the sun still comes out. I'm assuming the sun still comes out. But yeah, yeah. If you got to get that vitamin D, go ahead and do that. That's going to help in a bunch of different ways. All right. But yeah, guys. Let me see. What time is it? What time? Woo, woo. We coming up on an hour. Let me just check right quick to see. If we got any questions that I missed. We got any questions I missed? Just hit me up. Hit me up. Ah, here we go. Missed this one. What's up, Greg? My fault on that one. Sir, what has to be done to see progress when diet, exercise, and supplementation is on point? What has diet, exercise, and supplementation? Sleep. So basically, everything you do during the day is in preparation for sleep. Sleep prepares you for the day. This is all the circle of life. So if your sleep is off, and I know this for a fact because my sleep is just is what it is. I'm constantly working on it, but yeah, and also your stress levels. The interesting thing, reason why we have ECS in that last one, that soul piece. Your soul is your connection to the outside world. So you, being the physical chemical bag that you are, have a interaction with the world at all times, from what you hear, what you see, what you smell, and what you taste, and what you feel. So and of course gravity and the sun. So but when you're dealing with other people, you can have the same experience as someone else. Someone jumping out of an airplane, with a parachute. Jumping out of an airplane can consider that to be thrilling, the most wonderful thing ever. Someone else can consider that to be terrifying. So it's like, how are you dealing with your life? Are you stressed? Are you stressed and put it into different compartments? Are you able to handle those compartments? So those are the things that it you can see it playing out in your life, because I've talked to people, uh, like the nurse, the male nurse. My man was, I think it was 28, and basically he was doing a lot of the right things, but he was working that overnight shift, so his sleep was off. So these things have to be in alignment. A lot of times I've done TV interviews and they'll ask you, well, what's the one thing you can do? There is no one thing. That's impossible. I mean, your body is made up of trillions of chemical reactions a second. Uh, you know, as a man, you create 1,500 sperm cells a second, 8 billion in the spermogenesis cycle of 65 to 75 days. Yeah, you're a powerful being and you have to take care of all aspects of it. So, yeah, still have more work to do. That's all it comes down to. Don, horse chestnut. Yeah. Chestnuts is, let me see. Yeah, great for nitric oxide, vitamin C, uh, and fiber. So yeah, all of that's going to help out with blood flow. Yep. Definitely. So cool, fellas. Woo. Hey, I want to thank you. Unless you got any last second questions, we're going to go ahead and end this out. Once again, this is Brian, aka Uncle B. Thank you for hanging out with me. We do have a video that gets released every Thursday at 12:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can go to givegoodwood.com. We have products there that can help you out. We also got an email list to keep you updated. Of course, look out for these lives. Of course, look out for the challenge that's coming up starting in March. We're going to be doing a lot of big things in the upcoming year because I want to reach as many people as possible. What's going on, Rick? This is always an interesting one. What do you recommend for skinny guys trying to gain healthy weight? That right there, sir. I wish I knew the answer to that because I want to be that. Let me not say that. Let me say I'm blessed with what I have. So, but yeah, in terms of gaining weight, it's I understand the difficulty in it. In terms of you just need to consume more. Basically, your body is overperforming. You're it's like you're supposed to burn metabolism and things like that, but your liver is cooking. Your liver is like, is that fat? Give it, and burns it straight off. As you breathe, that's how you're releasing waste and releasing weight, so that's hard to do. So really it's just consuming more food. That really is the only answer that I can give you. Wish I could tell you more. You know what? I'm gonna do some research on that. I appreciate that question, and I have a couple of guys who want that. I just don't have that lived experience, and that's the reason why I want to get to the talk show, so that we can have that conversation and other guys. All right. Yes, we are closing this out. Yes. Thank you, Ian. Everybody. Yes, I share his sentiments. Have a great evening, gentlemen. Thanks to Don, Ian, Rick, everybody who's on board, Wayne, even the guys who hopped in early, Brandon, J3, JH10, where you at, man? Damon, RD, Mixmaster Dean, Chris, Clean the Plate, James, all right, Damon in the house, Irk, C, I appreciate all of you, Miss Master Dean. Y'all go ahead and go to sleep, man. Yes. Let's not only talk about it, let's be about it. So it's 7:54 where I is. So I'm about to get myself prepared. But yes, thank you very much. Looking forward to the next time with you guys. And that's all I got to say. So once again, this is Brian, aka Uncle B, saying get your game up and go hard. Peace out.